Hey guys, an informal video for you today. So I just want to talk about the advice that's out there online. So I've injured myself a few times already. So the first injury I had was my it was like my hip, but it wasn't really related to track. But after rehabbing that, taking some time off and getting back into it, I ran into some lower leg injuries on my left side. Interestingly enough, so in that period of time where I injured my hip, it was when I was skateboarding a lot. So my pushing leg, so you have one foot on your skateboard and your other foot is pushing, and you swing it down, and I'm like doing the action with my foot. It's my left leg. So I've developed this imbalance in my hip and like my lower limbs. So it was like when I got back into track, it was my left calf and Achilles that ran into issues. So it's like I developed some kind of overtraining from skateboarding on my left side, and that was the side that whatever muscle imbalance in my hip or lower back kind of started itself in my lower leg, and that kind of built off of the advice that I was following online. So there's advice out there that says, okay, you need to run at 95% to 100% of your top speed in order to make any gains. So I thought to myself, okay, I'll do that 2 or 3 times a week, and whatever drills and stuff that can go by the wayside, because this is the most important stuff. I'll just do my meat and potatoes, and I don't have to worry about kind of the less important things. And that was the wrong decision, because I didn't have this base of work capacity in order to recover from all that high intensity work. And since I was hitting the high intensity work so often, I quickly fell into this detrained state. And it took me a while to figure out, okay, I need to do this lower limb conditioning and not mess myself up like that again. So yeah, it's like so that was back in May of this year, so just about 5 months ago. That was also when I started getting my timing system project working, the Aperto project. So I actually saw my times, like my top speed. I stopped improving. I still felt healthy, but my top speed stopped improving, and then the top speed started to regress. I said, oh, it should be fine or whatever. I'll bounce back. I'm just kind of getting acclimated. But then I couldn't run because my lower limbs hurt so much, like my calves and Achilles. And I guess that's my individualized experience. I don't want to be like dogmatic on this channel. I want to be objective and just view whatever information that you hear as a single data point. It's like, this is my unique experience. You have your own unique experience. All the tens of people who tell you that this is what you need to do to get better, that's their own individualized experience. It's just all these different data points that you kind of triangulate into your own optimal training program. There's really no optimal. I would say even all those training advice, all the training advice that's out there is more confusing than anything, because everyone's claiming to have the next best thing. But yeah, so going back to being injured and stuff, so I've kind of resolved that lower limb issue, but interestingly enough, it has worked its way up to my lower back. So uh, it was in my calf. I'm like holding my leg. It was in my calf and my Achilles, and now that's kind of resolved, but it's kind of worked its way up my posterior chain into my lower left back. I don't know if it's like my QL, my quadratus laborum. I don't know if that's the muscle, but it's this. But there's a lot of muscles that attach to your spine inside of your rib cage. So it's like inside your spine, from your spine to your hips. It's like it could be a muscle there. It could be like a spinal erector. Not super sure. But yeah, I just think it's super interesting how it has worked its way up.